Hello, today we are at George Washington's Ferry Farm and we are going to be doing some Eggsperimental archaeology. We are going to be trying out 4 different techniques that would have been used in the 18th century to preserve eggs. This is basically experimental archaeology, and we're doing this so we can understand the lives of people from the past, put ourselves in their shoes, try out different things that they were doing and see how effective they are. The reason why we're doing eggs right now is because it's spring. And in the 18th century, this is when chickens were laying the majority of their eggs. During Washington's time, chickens didn't lay all year long, unfortunately. So they had to have a reliable way of preserving their eggs for many months. So in case, in November they wanted to bake a cake that involved eggs, they needed to know that they could have fresh eggs available because their chickens probably had stopped laying by then. Our first preservation technique that we're going to try out is fairly straightforward. It's basically just packing the eggs in some salt. And all we're going to do is get some coarse salt and get at least some in the bottom there so they're not touching the crock directly. This is a stoneware crock, similar to what would have been used during Washington's time. And we're going to just gently place the eggs down in the bottom. I'm going to do about half a dozen eggs. It's important to note that I'm using my own chicken's eggs that were laid over the past week. If you try this with store-bought eggs, it's not going to work because they are washed, and this removes the protective coating that naturally occurs on the egg. And of course, we don't really need to do this technique with store-bought eggs anyway because we have refrigerators. So we're just going to pack those in there, make sure they're nicely covered up, and then store them in a cool, dark place. For this next technique, we're going to get a little bit more messy. We are going to take some rendered pig fat or lard, and we're going to rub it over the eggs. So what we're going to do is just dive right in there, get some lard, get it on the eggs. This seems a little bit counterintuitive. Why would you want to rub fat on the egg? But what this is going to hopefully achieve is that it will reinforce the protective barrier on the egg and will help block air and bacteria from getting into the shell. Okay, and done. For this technique, we are going to pack the eggs in wood ashes, which of course would have been readily available in every household in the 18th century. For this, we've taken wood ashes from my wood stove at home and I sifted out the charcoal. So what we end up with is a nice fine wood ash. And what this is going to do is hopefully create an alkaline environment that bacteria are not going to really want to grow in. Nice little wood ash nest for the eggs. Cover them with a lid, and we're ready to put them in the basement. Next, we're going to try packing the eggs in a jar and submerging them in lime water. Lime would have been readily available in the 18th century, and basically this has just been dissolved in water and will create an environment that is not conducive for bacterial growth. For our purposes, we've used pickling lime, which is food grade. Basically calcium hydroxide. Make sure we get them completely covered, and then we're going to top this jar off with some wax paper, not so much to keep bacteria out, but more to keep the water from evaporating. Okay, well, we're here at Kenmore, and we have placed the eggs in a cool, dry place, and we're gonna check back on them in a month and see how our experiment is going, and then we will check them again in 3 months and maybe 6 months, depending on how they're doing. Science!